Please, thank you.
Right, okay, so welcome everyone. If you are on the 7-day free trial, then I hope you're enjoying your week. And please make sure that you come into the group, the Financial Freedom Movement group, and go through some of the units. And then if or when you decide to join us, you will come into our main group, which is this one. This is the Ninja Forex traders, and we've got a unit section here, so that's where you start. And it's been very well put together over quite a few years. We honestly don't know how we can improve upon our trading. It's just absolutely brilliant. And you come into the where are we? The Discord group, because we have to come off Facebook onto this server. Because the group had got too big. There's my trade from this morning, 20 pips on Euro USD, which was very nice. And then we all post our results. I like to put the actual chart in. I do show my sponsor my live account if they want to see it. I've stopped posting screen grabs of my live account because I trade on my computer. So it's Trading View, but it is always my live account. I've only traded on a live account for 15 months now. So after that, we come over to our IM.Center. So you'll come, this is our main portal, our private university, where we get everything that we need, all the tools and strategies. Close that down. And you will see here, this is it. I'm number one in France. That's where I live. So I'm number one on the leaderboard over here. And there's some very nice little units for you to go through, but you don't have to go through all those in order to succeed, but just do them over a period of time. So from here, we come into the strategies. And then down here, there's Vibrata, the main one that we use for Be Your Own Bank, BYOB. That is an add-on. And then here is the Harmonics, which is free with your platinum package. And that's where we start. I use the Harmonic scanner. And for support and resistance, we draw something called trend lines. And I use this little tool over here because it's part of the menu. It's a little pitchfork. And that's pre-drawn trend lines. And you just pop it on the scanner, XCD, and it just gives you the trend lines. So that's what I like to do. So this is Euro USD on the, that's JFX. It doesn't matter which broker you use. I'm going to show you how to draw this onto your trading view. I like to keep all my scans because if you do put the pitchfork on, it means you can take multiple trades over a period of time, not just the trade off the D point here, which is where we sometimes also use a strategy called 25 to life, which again is one simple tool that we click. We give you the settings and it will only activate at certain points. So sometimes I go through that and send that out on the watch list. Now you can also take the scanner entry. You'll see it says 2 entries here, and that's because this pattern is called a shark, and that's the only one that has 2 entry points. So you wait until the second entry point or that it's come up towards take profit 1, TP1 before entering. So if I just show you the main feed, Traders Way, it doesn't matter which of these brokers you click on, they're all much for muchness. I just tend to always start with Traders Way because it's the main feed for the site. So there's Euro USD, they all show up pretty much the same. And make sure down here, bottom right hand corner, that your time zone is correct for you. I'm in Paris, so that's UTC +2. And you just need to make sure it's synced with the same time zone that you've got showing on your trading view, because you need to draw these on accurately because they're plotting the reversal points. And I'll show you, we'll see if we can find any setups to put on the watch list. And us live traders, there's 8 hours a day, we post our live trading results. And so people can see that we're accurate in what we're doing and what we're helping you with. So I have certain rules. You'll have confirmation check sheet for whatever strategy you are deploying. So BRM Bank, BYOB has its own confirmation checklist. I use Harmonic Scanner and Pitchforks, and that has a confirmation checklist. Every single trade I take, I follow that same set of rules. I do not get into the trade with, and I'll show you one this morning where I thought about getting into it, and I thought, no, I'll pick the other one because it was a better setup. And that indeed proved to be the case. And that's what keeps you safe and keeps you on the right track. So I just need to see how many pips this is. I come on the little ruler on the left-hand side, and then up to the C point, down to the D. And you see here it says 1209. Well, pips, you only count the first three. There's a decimal point there. This little tick on the end, the 9, is the smallest figure that appears on your trading view. I'll show it to you in a minute, and that's what's called a pipette. So that's big enough for us to draw. And I don't think I put this one on this morning. So then what I do is come to the X point, line it up using your mouse with your vertical dotted line, and look below. Now you'll see it says 2020-05-12. That's because it's written in American. So I transpose that. So it's the 12th of the 5th, the 12th of May. They put the month first. So I write down X 12:05, and then the time is 02:00. I say O's instead of zeros. It's just to find it a bit quicker. The A point is 12th of the 5th at 15:15. So we're on the 15-minute chart. The B is the 13th of the 5th at 09:45. The C is 13th of the 5th, 1500. So you need to make sure you're taking the time off your own time zone, or you can set it to mine and copy it the same. 14th of the 5th at 13:15. And another point I should make is that from the D point here, which will be our entry point upwards, you need to see that it's moved 20 pips off the D point. So that's just at 19.9. So I'm just about okay on that. Sorry, I always check that first. I forgot to do that. So 20 pips off the D point, and that has solidified. So then from here, this is Euro USD M15. So you need to make sure you're on the same time frame. Hi, Tony, nice to see you as well. Tony also does a strategy called Easy Pips. Do ask him about that. Very good for grabbing very quick, very accurate 5 to 10 pips. Very nice strategy. I just have a slurp of my coffee. So come over to Euro USD on your trading view, and you'll see down here that little red number. That's the pipette there. Okay, that little red, it's just changing to 5 and 6 and 2. So that you don't count that when you are looking at your points for the scanner. You know, it's that, as I say, the number of pips from C to D is the point to the left of the decimal point, and this little tick on the very end is called a pipette, so you don't need to bother about that. So I'll draw this on here. It's just changed, it's just reversed. So this is a new scan coming up. So this was the one that I have got the 20 pips on my trade for this morning. Just tidy up the brush marks. I just did that to put on in our group. Just get rid of these. Right, okay. So what you've got here, this green line is the pitchfork off the scanner, a trend line, as I said. I'll show you that in a minute. And the orange dotted line is quarter theory. I love a trade because these are two confirmations where you've got a break and a retest of the pitchfork, and you've got it crossing quarter theory, because if I get an entry, you see where the red box, the slider, turns to green. That's my setup for the trade. I've got two strong ceilings, barriers between me and price getting taken out on the stop loss. And that's because these are very strong lines of what we call support and resistance, floors and ceilings. and price will stall out at these levels, either reject off or break and retest. So when I was looking at this to get into the trade, I had this point here. Now there were Bank of England announcements, red flag at 11:30 UK time, 12:30 my time. You can see my clock below, that's midday. So I was watching this and the euro dropped half an hour before the Bank of England, and I was looking at this trade and I thought, well, I don't want to get in half an hour either side of red news, and I want the break and the retest anyway. Perfect 10 pip break. I look for a 10 pip break and retest. So it came up by 12:30, which was my time, sorry, 12:30 my time, Paris. So it's 11:30 UK time, just when the Bank of England was making that announcement, and it tested up there. And I thought, well, I am going to get in. So normally I'd wait for it to settle down for half an hour, but I got in exactly perfect entry, just as price had come under the 62 EMA, which is the 1 minute trend moving average. That's measuring 62 candles, different 62 candles according to which time frame. So if price is below, then the orange line is shoving price, it's pushing it down, which is one of my confirmations for a sell. So I got in there and then stayed in the trade. I had a 10 pip stop loss to my 20 pip gain, and it took 50 minutes. And I'll just move that out of the way for you there. So what I do is once it broke, I move these sliders down as I go. So that's on 5 and that's on 20 because I was waiting for the alert to go off. So once it had moved 10 pips into profit, I looked. Sorry? You're talking to me?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's okay. No worries. Once it's moved 10 pips into profit, I then move it to 1 pip stop loss into stop profit for risk-free trade. But at this point, I wanted to keep it 3 pips above the 62 EMA to keep me safe. That's what keeps you safe because price will always flow up and down. So I didn't want it too tight. You've got to give it room to breathe so it doesn't take you out of the trade. So I took the decision to keep the stop loss just above quarter theory and the pitchfork. I didn't feel comfortable moving it down to there, even though it had gone down the 10 pips, which was down to here before it came back up. You can just see it's gone down and up there. So I let it be, and then I did move it to the 5, which was on that 0 line, which is the first take profit, because the reason this trade was also so nice is, can you see the perfect rejection off the 61.8 fib? And sure enough, it went exactly down to the minus 61.8. So there's your fib from high to low. Fibs are always forming. Here's the new fib that's formed, high to low there. That's a new fib. So fibs move, and you want high to low in this case for the sell, and past to present. And then it came back up off that fib, rejected off the 61.8, and then worked its way down. So I like this because I could see my levels for the price. So once it had got to 10 pips and then done a reverse, then it started to, carried on down. I'd set the alert, but I was actually sat here watching it because I just had TV on in the background. And then once it pinged at the 20 pips, I got out the trade because it was at the minus 61.8. That took 50 minutes. I'd done my 2 to 1, 10 pips, 20 pips. That's 2% to 4% gain. And I did not want to think about staying in for it to hit this next level. As I say, price will always move between levels. This level is the next pitchfork line, and then there's the next quarter theory. Why didn't I think it would do that? Because sometimes price will only come to that 0 line off a fib, which is your take profit 1. Think of it as 0.27 take profit 2, and the minus 61 as take profit 3. Or you think about it as the levels. So you could have thought, well, maybe the pitchfork's going to be the first level and the quarter theory, the take profit 2. But there's my fib, and there's that 61.8, and that is that drop down. So that all worked out perfectly, and that to me is my ideal kind of trade. My second,
Sarah.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, it's Connor.
Hi, Connor.
The 62 EMA, I know you like it to be below. What time frame do you have that
That's always on the 1 minute.
The 1 minute 62 EMA.
Yeah, it's working on the 1 minute chart, and this blue one is how it would appear if it were on the 15-minute time frame, but it's shown and working on the 1 minute. So this is for the 1 minute time frame. Yeah. I mean, I do. If you went to the 15-minute, I am looking at it, but it's not doing me much good because that is further out back in the 15-minute. What is happening on the 1 minute is the current real-time momentum of the market. That's like the ocean, the storm on the ocean being in the 1 minute, and then the ripples go out across the 15-minute, 1 hour and 4 hourly. Yeah. So here it's showing, yes, it's showing price below and that it's crossed below. But equally, coming back to the 1 minute, that if we were looking at the 15-minute and it was pointing downwards, here we can see it's reversing, coming up. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? Whereas on the 15-minute, you could look at it and say, oh, 62 is going down. But we know it isn't, because the 1 minute is the current momentum in the market, and it's now reversed on us and it's coming up. Yeah. That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'll just get rid of those markings, and because I thought to myself, it's fine for me to rabbit on about trades for those of us who've been here for some time, but we also do have to. I was rereading the guidelines for the traders, and I thought, hang on, I hope I didn't take. I don't think I took. I think I took something off I shouldn't have. Just go back, see if I don't know if that'll set it back. And I thought, I think every Monday I might go through how to actually draw a scan and take everything through to doing a trade. And then Tuesday can be having looked at chart markups, what's happening, on the charts. My charts don't look at the week long though, because they're always intraday. And then Thursday, and sometimes I do a special on a Friday, can be a sort of a review of the week and that kind of thing. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, where you get the bigger pips, and I thought that could be more kind of getting into where I usually sit, which is trying to find things for the watch list. But kind of need to do a measure of things. Let me just get this back off again. I'm just worried I've taken off a scan. I'll have to sort that out later. That's my fault. Trouble concentrating, doing talking, and now it's frozen on me for some reason. Let me see if I can go to another. Go back to it. I took the things off and now it's frozen the screen. Sorry guys. That's very odd. Let me just, I'll have to, can I get it back? Changes you've made, oh, it's just whirring around. I think it's because I'm on Zoom, it's just slowed it down a bit. I clicked through too many things. If I reload it, it doesn't really matter if it takes off my markings, because it won't take off the old chart. So what I want to do is draw this new scan on it. That's an old alert. Your favorite drawing tools. Okay, don't need that. Right, so Euro USD has now thrown up a new scan, which we know has solidified. And what we're going to do is put it across on our trading view. So I'm just going to hide some of this. And take off my indicators. so you've got a better view of it. Okay, there we are. So the scan we looked at was on the M15 time frame, which is here. Now make sure you've synced your time, UTC +2 for me, bottom right hand corner on your trading view, and the scanner plots reversal points. So we're looking for lows to highs to lows to highs to lows. Sometimes you can sort of see them more clearly than others. Sometimes you can, there's no right or wrong. You can just look for that, or you can take the brush mark and mark where you think it is on the brush. I don't do that anymore. I tend to look for it. And then, as Kathy pointed out, which I was very grateful for in my group, my thing had glitched and I actually had a different X point. And I touch wood, I never make mistakes like that because I like drawing the scans. I've done hundreds and hundreds of them. So I thought to myself, well, I wonder whether I should go back to doing brush marks. So let me just refresh your memory. Here's the scan that we're drawing. Reversal points in the market, highly accurate, based on maths. So we're looking for that X point first of all down here. This is a buy scan, so it's going to work its way up. And the bit of the trade I just took today was that last point as it the long extension leg came down to form the new low. So Euro USD, and we're looking for, this is my time frame, my time zone, so you need to have your own time zone. So you want to pick the lowest point, and it's the 12th of May at I'm on the 15-minute, sorry, let me just double check that X point. Sorry, 2:15, thought I had it slightly out. So that's going to be that one there. And then come over here to the left where you find the little scanner tool down there. Click on that. Now you're holding 5 points on your mouse. So you only click it once because, and you want the magnet on there. And then find that point, 12th of May at 2:15 there. Now you can see it says A, but that's because the X is hidden underneath it, and that has now clicked on to the end of that wick. It must be on the end of the wick, so that's the X point. The next one is the next one up here. A, 12th of the 5th at 15:15, and you can see it on the timestamp below. Down to the next low, it's going to be that one, 13th of May at 9:45 my time. Up to the next high, it's always highs to lows, reversal points, 13th of the 5th at 1500, and then down to that D point there. Now remember, this is, I think this was a shark, so we need to make sure that's 13:15. You need to make sure that you only draw a shark. It's not just 20 pips off the D point, or if you're more advanced, you can use the fib at 15%, a 15% line. But you will only draw a shark if it's hit second entry point or is between the second entry point and take profit one, okay? Because the D point has a habit of redrawing on sharks. Sharks bite, as we always say. So once you've got that on and you can see the pattern looks the same, then come over here to the, and I don't know why my menu has, that's strange, the menu's changed. I wonder if TradingView updated something. It all seems a bit lower down. I'm just looking for my, can't see my pitchfork now. There it is. It's all moved round. I'll have to sort that out afterwards. I don't know why it's done that. So I've got my pitchfork, which is that little thing there. So you're going to do X with the magnet on. Oh, sorry, it's gone on the wrong one. I'll adjust that in a minute. To C to D, and it's very important that it's accurately sucked onto the end of the wicks. So let me just pull that X down there. And once you've got that on, now because we're on the 15-minute chart, that means that there are 4 15-minute candles in the hour, and also there will be 15 1-minute candles to make up this one candle. And the whole point about using pitchforks as trend lines is once you've drawn them on accurately, they are valid forever. We've been trading pitchforks. They're just trend lines at an angle. I don't know why people say this is an advanced strategy. It's highly duplicatable, and actually it's a lazy man strategy, because instead of drawing loads of lines of support and resistance, I'm clicking one button, shoving it on the scanner, which is free with the platinum package, and it's just a trend line at an angle for a precise entry. So to me, it's incredibly, logical, because I don't want to sit and try and work out where all the lines of support and resistance are. So I use this plus the quarter theory, and it works well, very well. So you come to the 1 minute, and this is the only fiddly bit of it, and it's very important that you get it on, because if you get it on accurately here, if you're off by a pip or two, then it will that will gradually, the angle will increase, and it will go out by 50 or 60 pips over a period of time, and that will make make it totally invalid. You won't be able to trade it. That one just happens to have that looks like it has gone on accurately there, so that's fine. The C point's fine. The B is slightly off there. That's better. And then just make sure you don't, and the A's gone on, probably because I don't often draw the 15-minute ones, so it might be because it's something. Oh, that one's off. There we are. So just drag that on using your magnet, and you're good to go. So I come back to the object box, and then I like to lock it on. I've had that happen when I first started. I kept moving the lines by mistake. So let's look at it on the 15-minute, and there you are. There's your that's it copied across, and that's now valid forever as long as that D point doesn't move. So from here on the 15-minute, I'll just put back on my indicators, which will be the other line of support and resistance, which is the quarter theory, 50 pip increments. Again, means I don't have to draw lines of support and resistance. And the 9:30 EMA, which is how the 1 minute would appear on the 15-minute chart, that's a rolling line of support and resistance. And the 62 EMA, which is the 1 minute trend of support and resistance, again, a rolling line of support and resistance. And that just, these are accurate indicators, and it means I don't have to draw lines manually myself. So now we've got that done. To look at this as a trade, for me, as you know, I'm down on the 1 minute. I like being down my little rabbit hole. That's where I live, and I'm quite happy living down there. And that's where I will stay when it comes to trading. So let's look at this for setting up for a trade. And the reason I'm always on the 1 minute is because it's being on the 1 minute chart that enables me to use a 10 pip stop loss, a very precise entry. So you're using 1 hour or 15-minute or even the 4-hourly time frame analysis, drawing the scan on, valid forever, and then the 1 minute entry to get that low stop loss. So again, look at your rules on your strategy. I'm looking for a break and a retest of the D point, and then to look for the buy. And we've got a bit of a wedge here with that quarter theory. So I do pay close attention to that. So let's just look at we've got about 20 pips between there. So what I do is set the, very strange, this my menu has gone definitely different since I wonder if TradingView's updated things. Anyway, so trend line there, put the alert on, don't need to write anything special in, create alert. So we've got a break and a retest. Now, why wouldn't we get into this for a buy, even though we've got a break and a retest coming up? The answer is that's only one confirmation, and I need 2 more confirmations. I've got to have the pitchfork touch, so that will be the first confirmation. I've got the break and the retest, but what I don't like is prices under that 62 EMA, which is the 1 minute current trend, and that means it's pushing price down. So until price decides to do this and come up above that 62, which I'll be looking for it to do that, then I wouldn't get into that trade. And it's as simple as that. And then depending on how it lines up, I need to make sure that I've got my oh, I don't know why my chart's gone. Sorry guys, I can't find my long position. I've got to seem to, unless they've changed their menu. Oh, maybe they've changed it, it's all separated out. There's my long position. So I kind of put that on then to see. That's a short position. I wonder if that's down there then. No. I haven't got the is it that one? Short position, long position. Right. It's getting me very confused. That's the thing with trading. You do it all from muscle memory, and if people change things on you, you actually have to start thinking. Right, so 10 pips stop loss, that's fine, but I've only got at the moment the pitchfork. It's not my ideal kind of trade, because I've shown you my ideal trade, the one I took this morning. My ideal trade would be to wait for it to come up here and then get in where I've got both the pitchfork and quarter theory covering me on the entry. So something like that is my ideal. Doesn't mean to say I won't take a trade, but the other thing is this wedge pattern is not my ideal. But you know, there's a trade there as long as you've got the rules. Wait for it to come up above the 62. A key point of note is that 1.08000, because it's quarter theory and price will stall out, reject off that again, or break and retest. And because it's a buy scan, I'm only looking, another one of the rules, I'm only looking for buys up into that medium point, that unbroken white line, unless it's a very big scan of 160 and more, and then it's fine after this first level to take it would be, you know, to take sells as well as buys. Okay, so I hope that's that just hitting there. So we'll move on and look at something else rather than sit and wait and look for that. Let me just write that down. So that's how to draw it across and set it up to take trades anyway. So Euro NZD, just going to rattle through a few more. Sorry, that's glitching. That is doing nothing at the moment that I'm interested in. It's coming up to on the 1 minute chart. So what have we got? We've got it in still in buy mode. It did a very big swing up there, which was that news, and I've forgotten to check the afternoon news, sorry. Thursday, that's okay, nothing else. Thursday, Canadian dollar news. So a very big swing up on the news there, which was yesterday, and then price will always rest after it's made big moves, and then it's just been consolidating along the 62, as you can see, and quarter theory, it hasn't been able to make its mind up. I mean, oh my God, can you imagine being stuck in that? So, you know, it's just gone on and on and on like that for 20 hours. 20 hours of it just doing absolutely nothing, moving 70 pips, 64 up at its highest point, but just trading in the range there. And it's just now, because EN is quite a fast pair, but it's just now decided it is going to carry on up. So there was an entry here. It crossed above quarter theory. If you wanted to have taken a quarter theory trade, I don't tend to do that unless it's a very big scan. And let me measure how many pips it is between pitchfork legs. That is a big scan, so that's 160. So then I would look at a quarter theory trade there, put a fib on from low to high, but I would have got in at this point here, not while it's still in the middle of the ocean here. So our next point of interest on this is this level here at 1.80962 to that quarter theory. That's a nice entry there, 1.81000, and that's my favorite. So here I'm looking to see if it's going to do a break. This is what we like the charts to do. That doesn't always do it. A break and a retest, or if it's going to reject off. There's the only two moves it can make unless it consolidates along that line. It is a it is a London Asian session pair. And also what happens in London usually reverses. It's called the New York reversal. So what happens in London usually reverses in New York. And what I found during my session is often price will be kind of pushing the opposite way to what it's then going to do. So we could find it pushes up here and then it in fact does come down because it's done that big move up and carried on up. But I don't like to predict the market. What you want to do is let the market show its hand to you and don't make prejudgments. So all I do here is just set an alert there. I know this is one I'm very interested in because I love it when those two come together. And I wouldn't even put a long or a short position on it at this time. That's just my reminder. It's like getting ready for the baseball game. Got all my kit on. I know what I'm looking for when the alert goes off and my brain isn't confused. That's why I never jump on the charts and just kind of look through without having setups. So that's Euro NZD. Keep an eye on the time. Let's have a look at Euro GBP. I was in that one briefly, but I didn't stay in it. I just did a break even on that because I suddenly realised it was going to do something else because of Bank of England. Oh, that's right. I hadn't looked at the news, but it was okay. I got out and that was fine. And then I found the Euro USD one. So we've got it coming above quarter theory there. I haven't got a pitchfork. No trade on Euro GBP. GBP ORD, GA, crazy pair. That's glitched again there. No trade there at the moment. Euro JPY. This was a new scan, a buy scan. It's just bumbling along in that wedge. Let's have a look at on the hourly. Let's have a look at the 1 minute. And in fact, it has dropped below the pitchfork, coming up for a break and a retest. So on this scan, I'm looking for it to come back into that zone there before looking at that. So I'm going to put a trend line on here and just set it as an, sorry, put an alert, not a trend line, alert. See what it decides to do there. And then what this means is I love trading off alerts. It took me a long while to get the confidence to do that rather than sit and stare at charts. I'm quite happy on, looking at charts 8-10 hours a day, but there comes a point in your life when you realize you do have to go and do the shopping, the gardening, walk the dog, or get on with, Netflix or personal development or seeing your mates, or, well, you can't do so much without having a glass of wine or whatever. So it is easier to work off alerts. There's no reason for me to sit and stare at this. I can have that alert ping on my phone and I can look at TradingView on my phone, and then I like trading off the big computer, but and I'm at home to do that. So I can just come back to the computer when I hear my alerts go off, because I know what I'm looking for. I don't have to go out to other time frames. I don't have to do anything except look at the trade in hand and make sure I've checked the news each morning and work my lot sizes out, which I do at the beginning of the week, because you don't want to get onto your trading platform to go in to take a live trade and then think, oh, I need to go over to my FX book and what lot size do I want? So, you know, I have those all written up on a Sunday, and I've got a sheet at my side, and I know what my lot size is going to be for any one particular pair. So that's Euro JPY, nothing there at the moment till the alert goes off. I haven't got any others actually loaded at the top. USD JPY. So there's some to watch for us there from this session. Nothing there. I'll move that up there. Which one shall we look at next? I thought I had a new scan on NZD CAD.
Hi, Sarah.
Hiya.
I don't know if you've got anything drawn up in AUD/JPY, but I've got an alarm put up. It's just gone through my pitchfork and retested.
Oh, great. AUD/JPY. Let's have a look at that. Brilliant. Yeah. You've got the same scan as me, or am I looking at a different one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks similar.
Yeah, great. Okay, so Connor's right. We've got downward trend. We've got the orange under the blue. It crossed over back here, so that's a sell. So that's a confirmation. We've got a break and a retest of the pitchfork at the moment of 8.8 pips. Not quite the 10 pips that we like in an ideal world, but the charts aren't always ideally going to do everything we want to do. And then we've got quarter theory here. So that is an entry, and you've got 14 pips. So a little bit tight for me, simply because of that quarter theory. Long position, but just coming up to the break and retest. There. Oh God, I'm sorry. It's because TradingView's completely thrown me with change. I don't know why the menu's changed. It did it when it earlier on when we were right. There's 10 pips down to there. So have we got? So not my ideal trade. I wouldn't personally get in it because I don't like being in those wedges. By the time I've done spread and commission, unless I've got a very, very precise entry, but it is a sell at the moment, and we could put that fib on it from that previous high to the previous low past the present. You don't put fibs on current price. So let's just see if I can find my fibs. I can't even find my fib now. I think they've changed the menu. So past to present there, high to low. So it's not the best fib for me either on that one. And let's have a look at I can't even find my Hull MTFA. Where the hell's that gone? I was going to put my Hull on. Can't see that. And I know I've got that on everything. Can't remember the code. It's one or the other.
Yeah, would you possibly enter if that broke through the quarter theory and we tested that?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. As long as ideally you've got a 10 pip stop loss covering the gap is. If I have
I might put an alarm on that then in the quarter.
Yeah. Is someone washing up in the background? So that is red on the, it is red on the hull. So if it came down there, you'd need a slightly bigger, depends when it comes through. You'd need to, I personally would move my stop loss to about 12. I'd make sure I have my pitchfork covered as well as the quarter theory. I've learnt not to take trades where I've just got one barrier. I prefer two, especially on the faster pairs, although I don't think this is a particularly fast pair. Let me have a look. It's probably about a 5. Oh, it's a 6. And I've got a note saying that's good for news. I don't know why. I can't remember now. Not that we've got news at the moment. So that's I'll put an alert there as well. I can find my trend lines. And thank you for that. We'll have a look at that later.
Sarah, you've got 5 minutes.
Oh, thanks, Tony. Has anyone got any questions or anything, any other pairs they want me to look at the last 5 minutes, or shall I just find another pair for us to look at briefly? Take your choice. EN's one of my favorites, so I've done that one. CAD JPY, what's happening there? Didn't have any setups on that recently. Yeah, I've got Sharon on now, then Sarah Jane with her basic BYOB. Les, very good in the evenings at 7 p.m. UK time. With that's just the extensions of a scan. It's being pushed out of it. No trade for me on CAD JPY till it decides to come back into that scan, or I look on my history and see if I've got an older scan. Okay, so nothing on CAD JPY for me. And we'll do last one, USD CAD. As we're in New York session, would be the obvious one to look at. On the 1 minute chart, because that's where I do my entries. The analysis has already been done. And that has come out of a scan. So unless I look to, it's on a buy mode. I've had Bloomberg on this morning and it's come up above quarter theory. So I would need to see if I had a new scan, a scan on one of my hidden, there's a pitchfork. So no trade for me until it comes, that's a nice entry up here. I'll be looking for that at 1.41500. But I do look at its trading range down here on 41500, which is probably a bit rich for the US dollar against the Canadian dollar, because it hasn't had, it's up at that high range already, and its highest range on 52 weeks was 1.466. So that could be turning. Okay, so that's how I kind of think. I don't always look at that, but I do look at the major currencies, Euro, GBP and USD, particularly USD, to see its highest and lowest trading ranges. So unless I'm up here on it, then my next entry, I'll probably take that white one off, has got to be down here at this pitchfork at, okay, Tony, thank you, 1.40631. So I'm going to stop sharing. I hope that was helpful today. And if you haven't got any more questions, I don't see if there's anything in the chat before we go. What's the name of your strategy? It's Harmonic Scanner and pitchforks. Doesn't really have a name, does it? It's just
You
chance.
you had a name earlier on.
Oh well, I call it Moneyforks.
There you go. What about that?
Moneyforks. It's Chance and Samantha Gonan on live, channel 20 on the Go Live. Currently looking at all JPY, just broken retested pitchfork, going to quarter theory now. Brilliant. Thanks for that. That's lovely. So that's ORD JPY. Okay then. So we're just coming up to the end.
Yeah.
Anything else,
Thanks for that, Sarah.
Yeah, you're welcome. Nice to see you.
Sarah, can we link up in about 5-10 minutes? I wanted to have a word with you about something.
Yeah, I'm free now. No problem. I do my calls after my trading in the afternoon. So should we stay on this or come off this and
come off? I'll send you a link if that's okay.
Yeah, great. All right then. I'll say bye-bye. Thanks everyone. See you soon.
Thanks for a great session anyway.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for joining.